Our topic today is dividing fractions. The essential question is, how can you model the division of fractions? So we have a fraction right here, 15 thirds, and I want you to recall that fractions are division problems. So 15, it's really 15 divided by 3, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. So when you have an improper fraction like that, when you're dividing it, it makes it a little bit easier just because with improper fractions, the numerator is larger than the denominator. When you seek the answer to this problem, you should be thinking to yourself, to find the answer, I need to figure out how many times will 3 fit into that 15. And since 3 fits into 15 5 times, that would be our answer. So here are 15 little blocks right there. How many times does 3 fit into that? There's 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, and 5 times. Okay? Since 3 fits into 15 5 times, that answer is 5. Similarly, when you see something like this, 1/2 divided by 1/4, you need to ask yourself, how many times does 1/4 fit into 1/2? So when I'm modeling this out with pictures, you can write it like this. I want to come up with a common denominator when I'm modeling with pictures, okay? Shortly, I'm going to show you just kind of like the old school way where we would divide fractions. But here's what it would look like when you're modeling it. And the best way for me to kind of explain it is I got to start with a common denominator so I can actually draw this. So I know that they both go in the 2 and 4, their common denominator is 4. So I'm going to convert 1/2 into 2/4. Okay? 2/4 simplifies to 1/2. I know that those are equal to each other. And 1/4, I'm going to keep it obviously as 1/4 because the common denominator is 4 and that already has it in it. Okay? And we're dividing. So when I draw this out, I need to draw out 2/4. Okay, so there are 4 1/4 pieces, and here are 2/4. That represents 2/4. And now I need to know how many times does 1/4 fit into 2/4. Well, here's a 4th, and here's a 4th. It fits into those 2/4 twice. So that's why our answer is 2. Okay, so let me tie this back to probably the way your parents probably learned it. And so I'm going to call it the old school way. And they were taught to keep, change, flip. All right. So when you look at that, you would think, okay, 1/2, you got to keep it the same. And then you're going to change that division into multiplication. So we're changing it. And then you're going to flip it. You're going to flip that second fraction. So instead of 1/4, it would be 4 divided by 1. And then you just multiply straight across, because with multiplying, you always go straight across. Now it's changed to multiply, so it would be 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. See how we get the exact same answer? But that's the old school way. For this summary, I want you to divide, then simplify these two problems. You don't need to model them, but I do want to see your work, okay? So write this out and show your work and your answer. Simplify it if you're able to. 4/10 divided by 1/10, and then you got 15 divided by 1/4. Okay, so I want you to show how to get each quotient, I want you to show how to get each answer to these division problems. And we want to model it. So you need to be thinking on this first one. It's 3/4 divided by 2/3. You got to be thinking, how many 2/3 will fit into 3/4? So when I'm modeling it, the way I do it, I need to have a common denominator so I have like the same size pieces here. So common denominator for this would be 12. So I'm going to make it out 12. So 3/4 is the same as 9/12 because I'm going to multiply the numerator and denominator by 3. And I'm going to divide it by, I'm going to convert that 2/3 to have common denominator of 12, so that'd be times 4, so 8/12. 2/3 is the same as 8/12. Now I'm going to divide. I need to draw it out though. And you have 12 pieces. Okay, pretend those are all the same exact size. Okay, and I need to circle 9 of them, or fill in 9 of them. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I need to know how many times 8/12 fits into that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 8/12, and then there's one little one left over, one little 12th left over. So this would equal 1 whole and 1/8. Okay, which is also 9/8. So now the old school way. So keep it, change it, flip it. So 9/8, which is also equal to 1 and 1/8. I think earlier I said that was a 12th. I'm sorry, that would be an 1/8. So 1 and 1/8. Okay. All right. The next one is 4/5 divided by 1/2. I'm going to model, I want to do a common denominator. So I'm going to make it 10. So 4/5 is the same as 8/12, and we're going to divide it by 1/2, but I want to have the same common denominator. So 5/10 is the same as 1/2. Okay, so now I'm going to draw it out. And I want to have 10 pieces. Okay, and we're filling in 8. Okay, and let's circle 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, and then we don't quite have a full 5 right there. So our answer is 1 3/5, which is also 8/5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how we get that. Old school way. 4/5, keep it, change it to multiply, and then flip it. So that's 8/5, which is also the same as 1 3/5. Okay. Now this one, common denominator would be out of 6, so this 2/3 is the same as 4/6, and we're dividing it by 1/2. Okay, so to model this, I'm going to draw 6 little pieces. Okay, and fill them in. 4 of them in. Okay, and looking for 3s. 1, 2, 3, and then there's just one little one left there. So our answer is 1 1/3. 1 1/3, which is also equal to 4/3. Okay, old school way is keep it, change it, flip it. 4/3, which also equals 1 1/3, which is what we got when we were modeling. Okay, so just to be completely honest with you, in your assessments, I'm not going to make you model it. You don't have to model it for me in 7th grade, okay? I just want you to know, I guess basically the process. I know in 6th grade there was a bunch of modeling, and this probably is review for many of you. For this summary, I want you to divide and then simplify if you can. 4/6 divided by 1/3, and then 1/2 divided by 4/5.